Welcome back to my show, You Matter. I'm the host, Deborah Dupre, and today we're going to be talking about dreams. I'm bringing on a special guest today, Reyna Landin of Landin Communications. Reyna, it's great to see you back again.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Last time we talked about codependency. You can check us out on MyTV26, YouTube, and Facebook. Click like and subscribe. You can also reach out to me at my website at DupreReikiAndWellness.com or call me at 209-613-9439.
Actually, last time we were on the show, you had spoken about Al-Anon. What is that?
Okay, so thanks for asking. You know, Al-Anon is a group, a support group for family members who have experienced either an addict or an alcoholic in their family. So like they have AA for the alcoholic, Al-Anon is for the codependent.
Oh, okay, for the family member.
For the
who's
family
dealing
member.
with that.
Got and you. It could be more than just a family member, but it could be just like the environment that you're in creates that codependency behavior. And so what will happen is that person will become very organized, very efficient, and also very controlling. And they'll want to control how everything in their day is going to go. They'll want to know everything because they don't want to be out of control because they came up in an environment that was out of control.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that explains why there's people like maybe in your work environment that, you know, can come off as kind of micromanagers.
Micro can't stand
they just,
those ones.
Right?
No.
Because they treat everybody like they can't do anything because they have to be in control of you.
Yeah, so I don't do well with micromanaging.
Well, and it goes back to what you talked about with that part of entitlement or enabling, because the addict is twice as more likely to relapse. Because when they come back to that environment, that person's controlling and enabling them again. So unless you change the behavior at home with the codependent, then the addict just continues to relapse and relapse.
Right back in the same path. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good
same
to know.
groove.
Check out our episode so you can see what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, just know as you go through each episode, it builds on the others. That's what we say, you know, check us out. I hope you're staying in the heart resonance to lower your blood pressure and cortisol levels.
So we're going to be talking about dreams today.
So, what is your dreams? Yeah, what is your dreams? Are you precog? Do you dream in detail or not at all? Do dreams have validation of issues in your life? Can they assist you in areas of confusion? Dreams are given to you so you can process your waking dramas. And here are some of your more common dreams. So, chase dreams, cheating dreams, flying dreams, falling dreams, death dreams, snake dreams, teeth dreams, testing dreams, feeling weak dreams.
Yeah, so we've had a conversation about this. This is why I'm here. Because I dream vividly every night.
Yeah.
I can have movies out right now. They're that good. And so with my dreams, it's every night. So every time, you know, I sleep, even though I'm not even getting that much REM sleep, as they say, I'm still dreaming pretty vividly. And so what I've known later is that my dreams are not exact. You have to take them and kind of piece them together. Why am I dreaming about this person, or what does the whole picture mean exactly? Because obviously it's not, you know, gonna happen, or maybe it will, but in some type of other way through other people. But yeah, so you had mentioned as well.
So I'm going to go into it because I've got dream journals that go back 15 years.
It's really cool. I wish I would have.
And they're really thick. I dream like you do. I have vivid dreams. Now I'm going to explain something to the audience that you may not know. Some of you out there are getting downloaded at night with information. This is coming to you from your higher self. Your higher self is giving you this information so that it can help better prepare you for what's coming up in your life. So if you're starting to awaken or go through something, it's because you're getting that information ahead of time to prepare you for what's coming up. If you are open to the ideas of things coming in, and if you're not open to the ideas of things coming in and you're being downloaded, it can be kind of scary if you've never had these dreams your whole life. Like her and I have had them our whole life, so it's nothing to get 15 pages and a couple of nights and have this movie going on. But if you're somebody just waking up and you're getting these downloads, just know that this is a normal progression of what's happening with this ascension. And what can happen is you'll get information that's going to lead you in the right direction. So pay attention to your dreams, get a dream journal, and write things down. It's going to help you.
Yes, there's been dreams where, actually when I was younger, I think I was about 14 years old or so, and I had a dream about vampires. But it actually was the romantic side. I was with this boy that I had a really crush on and stuff, and we were, getting chased through town. Either way, we were with a bunch of people, and we made it to the end, but I was just so in love with the guy, and I was just like, turn me into a vampire, make me into one of you. And he just was like, I can't do it to you. I can't do this to you. I love you too much, right? Well, jump to, I don't know how many years later, you got Twilight. So I'm like, that was my dream. Wow. So if only I would have, fleshed it out, But
I'm gonna take it there. So sometimes when you're having, this is a difference between, like when you're in a meditation and people will say, well, how do you know when this is a still picture and you're seeing just the information, or how do I know when I'm tapping into the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records plays like a movie. And it's usually in color. So if you're getting a still picture, you're getting a download. If you're getting a movie, you're getting it directly from your Akash. So what you were doing is you were probably scanning through the Akash to see what was going to be coming up. And you could see what was going to happen to teenagers when you were older.
Oh, how odd.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So that you could be prepared for what media, what content would be coming out, and maybe how to deal with that.
Not giving it to me, so you'd be like, you could had become the author of this awesome trilogy. Yeah.
So it is interesting how, we tend to want to, there is no time. The river of life is, you can look backwards, you can look forwards. So if you're a little time traveler, and you zip forward to see what's going on, and then you zip back, you can fix things by being shown some of your dreams and then using those as markers to help yourself get to where you need to be.
That I guess makes somewhat sense. I had a repetitive dream. Do you have repetitive dreams?
Well, yeah, and look at what people do on YouTube, right? You scroll forward, you scroll backward, and what do? You mark stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing, but you're doing it in the dream time.
How interesting. Yeah, how interesting. Yeah, because as far as being repetitive in the dreams, right?
Well, if it's repeating, it's because you were either, so here's what's been happening the last 6 months. All right. So if you've heard of the Mandela effect, okay. Bernstein Bears, right?
Yeah.
So you've heard of all of these different movies being called different things, and you remember it a certain way, and somebody else remembers it a different way. So what's happening is you have this convergence. You have this timeline where, say you were in this timeline and I was in this timeline, okay? So I'm over here, you're over here, but yet we're both in this existing reality at the same time. But you remember it one way and I remember it a totally different way, okay? So what's happened is you can have multiple realities going on at once, but as you converge, as the frequencies go higher, because that's where we're going higher in the frequency. As our frequency's coming up, what's happening is the convergence starts to happen where they come together.
So they overlap?
So they become one reality, right? Okay. So say what happens here is, you're looking at 2,000 years of information as an old soul, and you decide, okay, I'm going to go look at this. I'm going to go look at this. So you've heard of the Schumann resonance spiking, and it's causing all these ascension symptoms to happen to people. And they wake up and they go, why do I have all these pains, and why do I have this headache, and why am I feeling nauseous and ears ringing and all these symptoms, right? So the earth resonates at 7.85 hertz, and what's happening is you see these spikes, they'll just shoot up to 60. And everybody's having like this repetitive dream happen. So what's going on is you are in this reality reviewing what happened before in those other realities, those other temporal realities. So Reyna was doing this, and there's 10 realities going on at the same time.
Is this for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for everybody. There's 10 realities. That's why when you do readings, sometimes it doesn't go, because you could be looking at reality number 9, and tomorrow could be reality number 5. Well, so what's going on is
so that's not like a matrix kind of thing? That's reality.
Yeah, okay. So you got these 10, it is like the matrix thing, because you've got 10 reality, 10
simulations.
10 simulations going on.
So it's not real.
It's really you and me, but I mean, okay. No, it's not real.
Well, now we're diving into something else.
There we go. We got to go there. So you're looking at all these files, and you're running the simulation, and you say, oh, I want to look at reality 2, 4, and 7.
Now, this is, you're saying, when we're dreaming, we have access to
your higher self is looking at it and going, I'm going to go look at 2, 4, and 7. And then it's going to be like, okay, I can close that file. I saw that. I've witnessed it. I've reviewed it. I'm good. I don't need it anymore.
But each dream isn't, it's kind of dealing with emotions, but in a different sense. So if you are repeating a dream, and you're saying it's within certain realities, right? Why then would you keep
repeating it? So what's happening is you're being forced to look at it because the collective is looking at it too. The collective is clearing their dreams too. So in those particular realities, when everybody's reached a certain tipping point and they know they can heal that and let it go, then that's when that spike happens. And then you jump. And then you jump to the next timeline. You might repeat that same dream again, or you might have a new one. And then you repeat it. And then when this group is ready, then that spike happens, then that group jumps.
Interesting.
And then you see it again. And then when it's ready, everybody jumps again. So people have gotten really good at cleaning up their stuff and jumping so that they can start to clean some of this out and get ready for the next one and the next one and the next one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I was having dreams for 6 months where I was repeating like several things over, and I'm like, what is going on? And that's what it was. It was all these 10 matrix timelines that we were put on.
What was the dream about?
I have to go back. I don't remember.
Oh, I remember my dreams. Yeah. There's some that just stick with you that you could just tell it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I have one of those I can share.
Okay.
So when I was married, my husband and his brother had made a deal for a truck. He had to have this truck.
Is this in the dream?
No, this is real life. This is real life.
Okay.
He had to have this truck. So we bought this truck, and for some reason, the dealer, when they did the paperwork, they put it in his brother's name instead of my husband's.
And your husband bought it?
And we bought it.
Oh my goodness.
So every month I'd write a check.
You sure the brother didn't like, hey, under the table? Here
No.
you go. Okay.
No, I wrote him a check and I would pay him the payment and he'd make the payment. So this, it was fine at the beginning, but after 2 or 3 years of making payments and it gets kind of old and you have your own family and you don't want to be bothered with brother's payments. And
so he was supposed to be like a co-signer then?
He would have been, but that's not what happened.
Okay.
They wrote the paper just under his brother's name. So we just made the payment to the brother every month for 2 years, and then it just got to a point. So one night I'm having a dream, and there's 2 dreams tied to this one story.
Okay.
So the first dream is I see my husband having a injury, an accident, a problem. And I said, something gonna happen to your leg. And he say, what? I said, I don't know. I see the doctor take my hand and put it on your foot. And I said, it's really bad. They're gonna have to operate. And I said, it's really bad. I said, I don't think this is a good thing. He said, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. He didn't believe nothing. So I said, okay. So we were getting ready. We've been digging a hole for this in-ground pool. We were going to buy an above ground and dig the hole and just set it in. Okay. So it's one of those 3-foot above ground.
Ready-made.
Yeah. Okay. Ready-made. So we put the pool in, and he says the guy's going to bring the trailer and he's going to help me offload it, and I'm going to do it myself. I said, no, you should have that delivered. You should have them bring it and deliver it. Oh, I'm not going to pay $100 for that. No, I'm not going to have it. I said, please just pay the $100. No, I do it myself. He's coming with the trailer. We're going to do it ourselves. So the day of we're supposed to go pick up the pool. I said, could you just pay the $100? No, I'm not going to pay the $100. I said, okay. So I tried many times. No. Yeah. Okay. He go down there. They put the pool on the flatbed. They bring it to the house, and he's standing there offloading it. And he says, something happened. I said, what happened? Because I'm freaking out because I know I have this dream. I know it's going to happen. He says, I'm okay. I said, you're not okay. I said, what happened? We take him to the hospital. The doctor put my hand on his foot. He tore the tendon on his Achilles tendon. And he has to have surgery. And he's out of commission for the next 6 months and have to relearn how to walk, everything.
Oh my goodness.
And his brother handed him $100.
The importance of that. Oh my goodness. Did you bring up your dream?
So, well, they knew about the dream. They all did. They used to tease me.
No.
So fast forward. So we have this truck, which is a stick shift. It's not an automatic. Okay. And now he can't drive because of his foot, right? So, and I have to drive him. So I'm driving. He wants to get up early, wants to go have his breakfast. So we're driving. And I had a dream. And I said, I see us getting in this accident in this truck. Oh my goodness. I said, it's like, not good. And he say, that's nonsense, whatever, it's nonsense. So we're driving, and this guy was moving that morning, and he pulled into my lane, and I swerved to avoid. And anyway, the guardrail catches the rim of the truck, and we flip over. Well, first he hit me, and then we spun out. Okay. Then he came around and hit me again, and we spun the other way. And when we spun the other way, that's when the guardrail hit the rim, and we flip upside down.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. And I remember the whole accident, grabbing his leg and just saying, is your leg okay? Like, is your leg okay? And here his neck is like...
So and we're upside down.
We're upside down.
Wow.
And some people come, and luckily we have the seatbelt. We're upside down, being held in by the straps of the seatbelt. Yeah. So wear your seatbelts. Don't always wear your seatbelt, because it will save you. And so we get taken to the hospital, and we're okay. Luckily, we're okay. Everything's fine. But the truck is totaled, just totaled. Wow. And the brother's like, well, I guess that's the end of the payments. Like, yeah. So it ended that dispute over the truck and everything. But I remember that to this day. Like, this is in 90, 91,
So this is where you would probably categorize it as the cognitive.
Yeah.
Because you are foreseeing this is something that actually happened.
Yeah.
Precog. Yeah. That actually happened from
twice.
verbatim, right?
First with the foot and then with the vehicle after, yeah.
So with mine, in regards to one of the repetitive ones, I was very young. I was about probably 15, 16 years old, and I was having dreams of where I was, again, across town. I needed to get to this place across town, and to this child, to this baby girl. And I literally would have to go and run through all these. It's just so many things that were getting in my way. I had to go through this high school, but it was very dark. It was it's almost like a horror movie a little bit. But I'm running through, going through all these like obstacles, kind of trying to get to her. And right when I would get to the door of where she was at, I would wake up. Finally, I actually got to her and then seen her. And then actually I became pregnant with my daughter.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting, very weird how that tended to happen. But yeah, that was a repetitive one I kept having, young, and then I ended up having my daughter.
So when you have the dark in the light, so you have the darkness and the dark shadow in the dream, that typically is when we're talking about the lower frequency. So if you ever saw the movie Pleasantville, they did part of it in black and white and part of it in color.
Yes.
So the part they were doing in the black and white was to show you that this is when you're in the lower frequency and you can't see the higher dimensions. You can't reach your higher self. So in this lower phase, when the images are in a darker cast, it can be the energy is very heavy there. So in that high school, there could have been a lot of lower, heavier density type people that went there, and it could have been very difficult to rise above some of that to get to where, like you say, get to the door, get where you needed to go, because you knew even at a young age what your path was going to be, but you had to come up in that frequency to get to the door, to get the door to open.
Wow. Yeah, I've always just knew that it was me trying to get to her.
Yeah.
It was supposed to happen.
It was.
Yeah.
Completely. I mean, you were given the path, the direct path across town, how to get there, and where exactly she was.
Yeah, that's
so we had one recently. There was like an inner child one, where the inner child was trying to reach the person, because sometimes when you have a trauma and you have an inner child separate out of the body, and so through dreams what you can do is reunite that inner child with who you are now. So
you dream about a child that is you, or you are the child within the dream?
You are the child within the dream.
And then you are...
And so in a way you're rescuing yourself.
Okay.
It's kind of like you're finding a piece of yourself and bringing it back home, bringing it back into you, into your heart, to heal it, so you can then give birth to the new.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So there is like those pieces that are left out there, and sometimes when you have these dreams, like I say, it's a download of what's coming, and it prepares you, like you are being prepared. Look, there's something over here. You need to get to this. This is going to be for you. And you got across town to get to her, to be the mom, to be with that child.
Well, there must, like we were talking about, categories, right, in which the dreams will be, because there again would be other dreams that I've had where it was, an awesome song I made.
Nice.
It was great. I wish I could wake up and just write it down, but it was something everyone would love. And so with those type of dreams, I wish it was repetitive, so then I could probably write it down, right? But for those type where you're in there and you're creating, right? You're doing things in which you wake up just kind of like, oh my gosh, that was really cool. What would that be then? Is that something in which you were saying would be how would you look into that?
So in those cases, I've had those kind of dreams as well, where you just wake up and you've had a whole movie play out, and I've written like 10 pages and it's still going. I tend to catalog those and mark them so I can go back and recap 6 months from now. Go back in 6 months and look what messages were coming in for you. What was your higher self saying to you? Because all that stuff is laid out in those dreams over 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So give yourself 6 months with a dream journal and look at everything, and then take a highlighter and go, wow, that happened. This person said this to me. This person felt that way about me. Sometimes emotions, like you say, come up in the dream. I've had phone calls in my dreams. People phone me up and say, why didn't you tell me that? You know I'm your friend, and I told you these things. Why didn't you tell me that? And then you're like...
You wouldn't think that that was for you anyway. Your I don't say insecurity, but the fact that you're like, I'm not able to tell everybody everything. So, you know, when you are working with them. So that's not your way of bringing it out in the dream, being like, you know, they're complaining, why didn't you tell me this? You'd be like that's your kind of fear of being like, I just wasn't able to tell you everything at that moment.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that could be.
So that was your way of bringing that out.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, I didn't want to share it or whatever the reason was. Yeah.
Right. Or
felt too close to the heart, where holding it too close to the vest, like, you know. In that case, she was like telling me about her relationship, but I wasn't telling her about mine with this person. And so it's kind of like, well, why didn't you share that with me? I was open with you. Why didn't you open up and tell me?
Yeah.
So there's the hermit part, right? You didn't want to share that side of you with this person.
So if we were to dive into dreams, though, let's talk about the ones that are most common, right? People are really trying to like just have over and over again, and like, why did I dream about that? For me, I would say another one is teeth. You start talking and all of a sudden your teeth start crumbling, or like sand in your mouth. I've had that a few times, or you're losing teeth.
So teeth and feet are about moving forward.
Okay.
So if you're having problems with your teeth and you're having dreams about your teeth, there's a problem with you either speaking your truth or not feeling like you're being able to move forward.
Oh.
So it's kind of
hopelessness.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of a thing where you kind of feel like, okay, you're not getting where you need to go. You're not getting that traction to go where you need to go. And you're frustrated.
Okay. So kind of like a helplessness a little bit.
The dissolving of the teeth is like a dissolving of the...
Is it because teeth maybe are so like right in your face?
It's your front.
Right.
It's your front, your face. It's like, it's part of your ability to communicate. It's your ability to be part of you. And if you're not able to get out in front of it because your teeth aren't there to support it, then you feel like part of you isn't there to go forward. Because that's the first thing people see is your smile on your face.
Very true, very true.
And if you don't have that, then where are you, and what is your identity?
So a good idea would to be then again is the dream journal, to come in and then write down that dream. So maybe you can more or less analyze what was within that dream, or what were you doing to lose your teeth, or for it to feel crumbled.
The naked dream. Okay, how many times have you had the naked dream? So nakedness, like. Right after my divorce, I was having dreams that I was showing up at this restaurant with no top on.
No. Wow.
And I'm like naked, and I'm like, what is going on? And it's like, because you're so raw. You're so vulnerable. It's like you're sitting out there, everybody's looking at you because you've gone through this horrific whatever with your divorce, and you're just there. You're naked. You don't feel like you have the emotional security, you don't have the financial security.
Interesting.
You don't have the things and people are talking about you and your relationship and everything. So you're feeling raw. You're feeling naked. Like if you lose your job, and you're seeing yourself in public naked, it's because your identity was attached to that position. And you're feeling naked now because you don't have that anymore. You don't have that security.
That makes sense. I will say I never had a naked dream, but I've had dreams where I'm naked, with doing something. But also,
well, why don't you share that?
let me tell you, that'll be a whole other.
It's not for the audience.
No, but the other side of it is, it was funny because my mother would always tell me about this recurring dream she had all the time, where she's going to the restroom and everybody could see her, kind of like all of us, be going in. But as a mother, I understand that now because I've had dreams like that, to where, because your kids are constantly on you, you have no privacy.
Right.
They will walk in on you going to the restroom or whatever, and you're just like, can I just get a moment to myself, a moment? So to me, with having those dreams, it's understandable to be like, oh, you have no privacy, even when you are trying to have your own moments.
That's right. That's right.
Your alone moments, I suppose, that you have to.
You are never alone.
Never. Never.
Even when you think you're alone, you're never alone.
Oh my gosh, that's the truth. But you can't think that way, because then you'd be like, oh, I can't do nothing by myself. But so I get those dreams. And there's another big one, is where you feel weak within a dream. You're in a fight, or you have to protect yourself somehow, and you are trying to do that, but you feel like you're hitting a pillow. You have no strength. So what would that for you be?
So part of that is like your self-esteem. Like you're feeling weak, you don't feel strong enough to stick up for yourself. So part of it is learning how to stand up, how to fight back.
Have a voice.
Have a voice, be heard. Like a lot of people with this whole thing is about being in your power, right? Being in your personal power, not allowing somebody to just come in and just, blow you over with a little puff of air. So
someone taking advantage of you, and in the dream you're feeling.
Yeah, one of the things that happen to people is they become very emotional or very connected to somebody, and then that relationship ends, and they feel weak, right? They feel deflated. You kind of see this deflation happen. Their shoulders come down, and they just feel deflated. Part of that is because the part of them that made them feel strong isn't there anymore. And so it's about reconnecting to source, reconnecting to yourself, your inner sun. This is your third chakra. This is your inner sun. This is your personal power. This is your power base. Men are really good at being in their personal power in their third chakra, but women need more. They have to learn how to be in their power base and be centered in their own central sun.
So the dream is basically just showing you that this is something that you need to work on. There's something that's really affecting you, to say, hey.
Well, look at your trainer. They always say, what? Strengthen your core.
Yes.
Where's your core? Right here with your central sun. So when you strengthen your core and you strengthen your being, you have the strength then to carry yourself forward, because you have the strength in your body physically.
Right.
But in emotionally, you have an inner sun in the third chakra that's your power base.
You gotta find.
And you gotta find that.
Got it. Yeah, that is very, everybody needs a little bit of that.
It's all inner and outer. This is the inner, your physical is your outer,
okay.
But it does connect. Everything connects.
Got you, that makes sense. Now there's another huge one, which to me would be close to death and or dying in your dream. So you're about to fall off a cliff or in a car accident or something, and right before you're about to hit, you wake up.
That happens a lot.
It happens a lot to a lot of people.
And a lot of people land hard on their bed. Have you ever done that? Like you'll be laying there and all of a sudden you feel like you like jump and you feel like somebody just dropped you into your bed. You're like, I just woke up and I feel like I've been gone for a month and I know it's only been a couple hours. So part of it is you astral travel at night. So you go out of your body and you astral travel and you go and you take care of things, right? You're working, you're never not working. So when you're out of your body and you come back in, sometimes you don't have a good landing. And you come in and you get that jolt.
So then are you dreaming? Because more or less people have like the vivid dreams. They're not thinking, oh, I just saw my house. You know what I mean? And
you might have been astral traveling and looking around and connecting to all of that.
Okay.
And when you fall like that, sometimes you're falling back into your body because you're coming back in from your astral travel.
Oh, interesting.
And you will not die in your dream.
If you die.
It looks like you might jump off a cliff or something, but no, you're always connected to your body.
Yeah, there is a myth out there. If you die in your dream, you die in real life.
No.
Well, I've actually died in a dream and went to my own funeral. So I was being chased in a car across town, and my car went over a bridge and into the water, and I drowned. So I woke up, or was aware, and I was standing next to my casket. You know, I'm seeing me in there. But I felt so amazing. I was fine. I was perfectly fine. And I just felt bad that I couldn't console anyone. Right. And so who had came up to my casket, more or less, was that I remember is my brother. He's my older brother. But he was so unconsolable. Like, he was just... But I was just like... I'm good. I'm fine. It's all right. I'm good. And I felt like, you know, when I woke up from that dream, it was just that I felt like that was probably what more or less happens at funerals.
It does.
You know, they're there and they're just...
unconsolable.
I'm good. You know, like the spirit. Yeah, I'm good.
You're at peace.
You know, we're at peace, possibly, you know. And so, yeah... like they're just kind of taking it. But for me, it was probably as well as like with my brother, like if something did happen to me, he wasn't at the place to be able to come to my funeral. So I feel like, you know, I don't know, I was trying to figure out how to deconstruct that. But what would you say in regards to waking up at your own funeral?
So that to me is one of these past lives where you did pass. You were in that reality. It did happen in that reality. And it didn't happen in this lifetime because you did what you needed to do there. And then you came in here and you corrected it here. So you didn't end up in that situation again. So for me, it wasn't a dream, but I was actually in a vehicle accident. Okay. And I was going the wrong way, hanging out with the wrong people. I was about 18 years old. And my friend came up to me and she said, can you give this guy a ride home tonight after work? And we get off at 2 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, okay. I didn't know he lived way up in some 2-lane road that I was a new driver, so I wasn't used to like driving these roads and everything. I'm like, okay. And I take him up there. Anyway, long story short, he's in a big hurry, wants to go fast, you know. And we go around this curve, and I hit a tree. Oh, wow. Head on. As an oak tree. We not had all that rain, that tree come out of the ground, but it encompassed half of the engine of my mother's pickup. I mean, this is a solid truck. So if it would have not been soft, it would have been done. And I see the flash. Okay. Right? And I know something happened, right? Oh. I know something happened. And we can't open the doors to get out because it literally crunched the metal up to the point you couldn't open the door. We have to climb out the back window.
Oh, wow.
And I had to walk up a hill to go to someone's house to call for help.
Oh, wow.
So I go up the hill to call for help. The guy's in the truck, and he gets out, and he waits with the truck. And when I come back down the hill, I can now see everything because all the emergency vehicles are there, and the lights are on and everything. And I'm like, oh, they're going to kill me. I'm like, my mom's truck is a mess, man. And I come out, and the officer says, who are you? I said, well, I'm the driver. And he goes, he says, I have people here with the body bags looking for you in the woods. He goes, we thought you were dead.
Whoa.
And he says, I've seen less damage and people dead than this vehicle. He said, I cannot believe that you're walking around right now.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, yeah, I can't believe it either. And I said,
was the passenger okay?
Yeah, he banged his head, but he's got out and walked away too. We both did.
It's a good. What kind of truck was this? Clearly.
So we, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
but the life-changing event of that accident, I got rid of those people I was hanging out with. I stopped seeing half those people. I don't have that job anymore. I get rid of that. And the very next year, I go to massage school.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I start the healing stuff.
Oh, wow.
But it shifted my whole reality.
Oh, it sure did.
But there was so much that led up to that. And this is what happens in the dreams. Sometimes the dreams are kind of a warning place. They give you room to see things in a place where you don't have to go through the whole experience. But when you don't listen and you ignore it and you say you know better, prepare to be pushed, because the universe is going to make that happen for you one way or another.
Interesting.
Like you're saying, I saw myself go off the bridge and be killed. Yeah, if you kept going that way, that may have happened to you. So maybe you made different choices because you saw that. And you say, maybe I don't go that way. I do something else. And you have different experience.
Yeah.
Like me, I know that night changed my life. Because I know that if I had died there, I don't think my mom at the time would have been able to deal with that.
Right, right.
So.
And if it didn't happen, you would have kept going, hanging around with the same.
It would have been the same problem.
And we wouldn't have whole things.
And we wouldn't have this. That's right.
Yeah. And then as far as the other dreams, which would be animals.
Animals are spirit totems.
Yes.
Spirit guides, and they come in to assist us with our dreams. And there's a whole book out there called Animals Speak by Ted Andrews, and you can go look that up and check out your animal totem. We're going to go to commercial. We'll come right back. Since Einstein and the discovery of quantum physics, it has been known that everything that exists is energy. Energy is all there is. The only difference is that physical matter, such as a table, a chair, or a car, is the seen energy. The unseen energy is sound, light, radio waves, radiation. They vibrate at a different frequency and a different rate. Reiki is used to assist with many ailments. If you're having a surgery, if you need help recovering, if you were diagnosed with chronic pain, fatigue, inflammation, diabetes, arthritis, then we can connect to the angels and the guides using tones, mantras, selenite swords of light. I use the Ankh to work within the physical pain, body, as well as the emotional field. Reiki can also be done in person or done remotely. I'm also a channel medium. I offer readings. If you would like to get involved in mentoring, you can please reach out to me on my website. I'll be forming groups now. If you would like to set up a session or get a reading or have any conversation about any of the pain or the inflammation or issues you're having, please submit a request to my website and reach out to me. Thank you. Welcome back to You Matter. I'm your host, Deborah Dupre, and I'm here with Reyna Landin of Landin Communications. And so we're going to talk about animals and animal dreams.
Yes.
So
a lot of people tend to have dreams that, if anything, like snakes or spiders and things like that tend to, freak them out.
Frighten them. Yeah.
And then when it came down to animals as well, certain things maybe they're
That's
afraid
a great one. So I just had a snake dream the other night.
You did?
I did. So snake dreams are not always bad. Snake dreams are transformation. Snakes are shedding the skin of the old you into the new you. But they are scary. People freak out when they see snakes because it's like not a normal animal that they'd want to pet or be around. But yeah, there was a snake. I had seen it in a dream. And then I had a friend of mine call me and I asked her what was happening. And when I was doing the Reiki on her, I could see this pain come out of the heart chakra. It came up through the heart and out through the neck and the mouth. And then it came down my right arm and out the palm of my hand. And it was the black ball and the snake came out with it. And it like released this stuff.
This is in a dream?
This was I had a dream before she called me about a snake.
Oh.
And then during the call, this happened.
Okay, got you.
And then I see the snake come out. And it was a transformation for her because I kept saying the word transformation, like I see transformation happening. And though she couldn't tell me what exactly had happened to her, there was a moment of, I'll just say that she was able to release on something really dark and really awful that happened to her. And it came through as a death. It was like a true death and rebirth for her, where she let go of that old self and stepped into this rebirth.
So in your dream you weren't afraid of the snake. You just seen the snake. So you're seeing her outside of that dream and what was coming. So if I am having a dream about a snake that I'm terrified of, what then would that mean?
Well, it can mean a couple things.
Okay.
It can mean that you're working around malignant people. Somebody who's snake-like. Somebody who's out to do you harm. Somebody who could bite you, could cause a venomous attack. Somebody who's mean to you. So there could be a very negative environment with the snake. If you're having dreams like that and you know that there's someone in your family or somebody around your circle of friends that's not good for you and you're having snake dreams, it means watch out for snake. Watch out for these people. It's a warning to you to be on your guard and protect yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to carry some pepper spray. Maybe you need to disengage from certain invites. Maybe those invites aren't good for you. There could be somebody who brings somebody you weren't expecting. Maybe they invite somebody to a party, you get invited to the party, but you have the dream that this could be bad. Don't go. Maybe that's not good.
That intuition.
Right? Maybe that's not good for you. Or if you get a bad feeling in your stomach, like they're here to pick me up, but I don't feel like going, don't go.
Yeah, Yes. Okay.
Right?
Interesting. So it's something to look
so
out
starting to pay attention to what you're being shown. Trust your intuition all the time. If your intuition tells you don't get in that car, don't get in the car.
Yeah.
If it tells you go left, go left. We were going to the doctor's one day, and my ex would always go this route, you know, and I never went that route. I went this route. We're sitting at the light. I said, get in the other lane. He said, no, I'm going to go this way. I said, get in the other lane. He says, I'm going to go this. I said, get in the other lane. He gets in the other lane. Man have heart attack, hit the gas, and take out 3 cars in that lane we were in. Had we not moved to the other lane, we would have been hit.
Right.
He goes, oh my God, we were in that lane, and that guy just had a heart attack, and just like he like stiffened up, his foot hit the gas, and he rammed 3 cars.
Wow.
So trust your intuition all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're awake or asleep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've had one where I was, my oldest at the time was a baby. We were on sitting on the kitchen floor, like playing around with whatever we were doing. And I had a vision of a black widow just crawling up and biting her. And I was like, I'm awake. I'm not dreaming, right? I'm awake. And so I'm like, what the heck? So I just pick her up because I felt like I just need to move her or something. Well, what do you know? Freaking black widow comes up.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, son of a wow.
It would have got her too.
Yeah, for sure.
It would have bit her.
Yeah, there's been many times where, you got to definitely
pay attention.
Listen, because if you don't, it can get you in trouble. There's been plenty of points where I'm like, I didn't listen to myself, and I was just like, oh, there goes that. Yeah.
So there's critical moments in your life, and I'm going to say this too, because I know a lot of people out there are precognitive. Just because you saw it and you wrote it down and you know it's coming, doesn't mean you don't have to live through it. And yes, you're aware and you know something's going to happen or whatever's going to happen, but it doesn't always prepare you for the emotional feeling you're going to have when it actually happens. So this is something I've had to deal with my whole life. It's like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen, but it's still, you have to live through that. And when it's sweet and good, it's so good. And when it's not good, it's not good.
Right.
So there's times when you're like, oh, I know I'm going to get that promotion. Yes, right? You know you're going to get that boost in pay or that promotion, right? Or you're going to get something, it's exciting and you're looking forward to it. And then there's those ones that are like, oh, I know something's going to happen to somebody, and it's not going to be good, and then but you still have to live through that experience too.
I say with anything, the dreams, you just kind of you don't take them with a grain of, you have to take them with a grain of salt, more or less.
Yeah.
They're not exact unless it's really that precog situation. But is every animal and every insect and all different, or are they kind of? Yeah?
Okay. You can go look up. So sometimes, like driving over here today, I saw a dragonfly, right? Dragonflies are amazing little insects, right? But it's like 2-year projects. It's they tend to be over water. They glisten like jewels. They're like little miniature dragons. And I saw 2 of them. I see 2 little dragonflies. So it's a beautiful message. If you look in there under the animal tarot, it shows a dragonfly. God is on your side. God is supporting you. It's going to be okay.
Oh, wow.
So it's like confirmation of that.
So if you see certain things within the dream, it'd be a good idea to kind of look it up and see maybe what it means.
Yeah, go look up shamanic animal totems.
Okay.
And animal meetings. The Native Americans had animal totems and animal meetings. And you can type it into Google and say search on animal totem. So that's my totem for today was the dragonfly. I see it this morning, so that's my totem for the day.
Oh.
Then you might have a spirit animal that is with you, that travels with you in your dreams. Right? So when you go on shamanic journeying using drumming circles or using drumming, you will be taken into the spirit world, and they call it the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world. So when you're in the middle world, which is where we are right now, but some people can travel, astral travel to the higher worlds, you can have an animal totem go with you. So if you're...
Do you ask for that, or is it just something that's in there?
Typically, your spirit has an animal totem.
Okay.
Some people have like jaguars or cats. Some people have wolves or dogs. Some people have birds. You know, it just depends what your totem animal is. You could always do a meditation and ask. Sit down, get quiet, do a meditation, ask, what is my spirit? Show me my spirit animal, and see what comes to you, and then write it down. And if it doesn't come right away, try it a couple more times and see what you get.
Yeah.
So.
And, wow, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So look out for these again. Write your dream down.
And work with your spirit animal, because when you have a spirit animal, they're going to be protecting you when you go in the realms. Which is like telling you to watch out for this or watch out for that, or you know, it's the more you work in the dream space, the more you work with your spirit animal, it's going to guide you clearer.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. So if you have anything negative and or positive, just check it out.
And for little kids, you know, teaching them that they could have a spirit animal with them at night, so they're not afraid. They can have their dream and not be afraid, because they know their spirit animal is going to come and take care of them or protect them.
Right, right. Has there been a dream in which that for yourself has stood out to you, where it was just you it's very memorable, like you just can't shake it?
Oh, I've had lots of those.
Well, maybe a good one then.
I don't know. I'd have to go back through and see if I have any.
So then there's not one that for your on top of your
Not right on
brain,
top
right?
of my brain, but I have a few.
Well, for myself anyway, I have a lot, but
I'm gonna read you this one.
okay.
Because this has to do with.
Is it a 10-pager or what is it?
Well, it was long, but it has to do with cleaning up Hollywood.
Cleaning up Hollywood.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How about that?
How long ago was this?
June.
Oh, in June.
Yeah.
Okay. You have really nice writing, by the way.
So, all right. I actually, you remember Tom Selleck from the show Magnum PI?
Yeah.
Okay. So I see him being let go of the movies, of the set.
Okay.
Like he's cleaning out his desk, he's leaving the Hollywood. He's the actor. I started seeing several of us get into a room where they were aligned into a half a circle with a wall behind them, sitting in a booth with small tables in front of them. We heard the news, but then management came over and stated all of them were going to be let go. So it wasn't just him, the main guy. It was like his whole, everyone he was supporting, all the people that ran the show. I had my swords, and I was swinging them on Tom, and I said, "This is what a change agent looks like." I am the change agent, and I was cleaning them out. And the woman next to Tom was Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know if you remember her.
I remember Halloween.
Yeah. The woman next to Tom was Jamie Lee Curtis, and I started working the swords on her. She kept trying to grab the tip of the sword and bring it into her vortex, and this vortex opened up in her chest as she would grab the sword. It was spiraling around, and she kept trying to pull me in.
Wow.
And I kept pulling the sword back, and she kept pulling it in, and I kept pulling it back. So I told her, don't grab the sword. I said, I am the change agent. And she would let go, but it would continue to try to pull me in. And I pulled the sword back every single time. And the others, I did the clearing as well, and then it was time to go. I packed up. I gave Tom a ride to a hotel. I knew it was over. He drove to a hotel, and he parked the car, and he handed me a key ring, and it was red with writing on it with a pair of gloves and his cap. And he said, I can pay you for the clearing today. And I said, no, it's okay. You pay me when you can. Because, like, he's wiped out. Like, they took everything. And he opened up his wallet. He didn't have any money in his wallet. It was all credit. And he said, look, you have a business. You need to charge for your services. And I said, this isn't any way to run a business. And he got out of the car and he walked off towards the hotel. The valet recognized him and said, hi, Tom, don't worry. He says, they called up and told us you were coming. I'm going to go over and clean out your stuff and have it brought over to you. He said, thanks. I put his things in a black car that was parked in the shade in a row behind me, locked it up, got into my car, and drove off the lot. So it's like really detailed. There's a lot of imagery. There's a lot of information. Most people don't get that level of detail when they dream. They don't see that imagery. They don't communicate with people on that level.
Right.
I thought everybody dreamed like that. But then my friend
too.
was like, no, they don't.
Yeah, me too.
So,
yeah, you have a lot of people that are like, I never dream.
right.
Like, what? How is that possible?
I don't remember.
If I did, I don't remember. But they will say I never dream. It's like, how do you not dream? Because I have just so much going on.
Right. Well, there's so
Yeah.
many people now that are being cleaned out of Hollywood, right? They're being removed out of these positions. And so it's kind of like a way to say, okay, we're here and this needs to go. And this old shows, these old things are happening. And I think it was maybe a month after that I started this show.
Oh,
So think about that. I'm the change agent. I'm changing what TV would be, right? Because it's not going to be about that old show anymore, those old things that people were putting out on there for you to watch. It's going to be about what are we going to create? How are we going to take care of people? How are we going to do this going forward?
I wonder what he was to you then, represented to you.
So as Magnum PI, he's a private investigator. He used to investigate things and look at what's going on. They're investigating all these people and they're arresting them and they're going through all these indictments and things. Justice is coming, right? So it's kind of like that piece is done. And now we're coming in behind that with these new shows, new talent, people be coming in, making their own series, their own documentaries.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. For myself, anyway, a dream that is stood out to me was that my great-grandmother had passed away. And this is years later, mind you, but she was in a convalescent home, I guess, right? And she's laying on the bed, but her feet are next to me and her head is laying that way. And I'm just sitting there with her, and all she kept, like her kid, my grandmother's sister, and their brother are in the other room, like kind of a waiting room. And she's upset with them because she just said they're acting like babies, And I thought, but it was, she lifts her, but all she does is lift her head up and just like, I go, did you want me to go? She's like, no, they're acting like babies. Like, she's upset with them. And I go into the other room to say, like, hey guys, like, you guys gotta come out. But it just wasn't happening. So when I went back, I remember thinking, oh, do you want a pillow? I offered her a pillow. She looked up and she just said, no, it's okay, I don't want the pillow. But when I woke up from that dream, it was so real to me to feel her, touch her, smell her again.
Yeah.
And everything. Like, it was that just there. And I was like, oh my God, I talked to her again. Oh my God. I was
Right.
just, because it was so, I just woke up just sobbing, but happiness because I got to see her again.
Yeah.
And I asked my stepmom, she's Chinese, and she, they have all these things that they go by, and she just said, she was like, usually in a dream, if the person has already passed, if you offer them something and you take it and they take it, means you're going to go soon. If you don't take it, if they don't take it from you, then you're fine. But so hence why she didn't take the pillow, I guess, from me. So I remember waking up, but I called my grandmother right away, and I said, oh my gosh, I was crying. It's probably like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time it is. And she said, she's like, what's wrong? What's happening? And so I told her about the dream, but she actually had been arguing with them in regards to the funeral and all these things.
See?
They were acting like children.
See?
Which I didn't even, because I was thinking, like, this is years later. I mean, why are they still acting like I guess why would they be doing all that? But that's probably how that's probably what she thought,
Yeah.
She was probably telling me within that dream to tell them, like, wait, stop acting like kids.
Stop being a brat.
Stop being brats.
Yeah.
Stop acting like kids. Like, she's not happy with them probably at that
Wow.
point. But my grandmother didn't want to hear it, so she was just like, oh, I don't know. That's probably about something else. And I'm just like, no, that was too real. That was straight up too real. I was very happy to see her and all that again. But
of course.
Yeah,
of course you would.
Yeah.
It's a connection, like when my mother passed and I was able to see her, communicate with her. It's that, it's like you said, they're at peace and you're not. You're having this whole blubbering, crying moment, and they're totally at peace, and for them it's over, and you're still, you're still here in it, going through it, and it's kind of an interesting concept that the soul lives on, and it's okay, and everything's okay, and this is just a suit. You're just wearing this skeletal suit. Until you transition to the next life.
I say for myself anyway is I've learned to, if somebody's sick or someone's putting themselves in a situation where they're ultimately, something's going to happen or something could happen most likely, you kind of set yourself up within yourself to say, okay, be prepared, you might hear something. It's those ones that are off guard, like completely unexpected, that are really the ones that get to you, that are emotionally so hard, because you can't, like, your grandparents, okay, you're going to pass away, you're older at some point, all these things,
you're more prepared,
you're a little more prepared for that. You can kind of prepare yourself, your heart and soul, for that. But it's the ones that are unexpected, the ones that you can't. So I say for myself, you do as much as you can to prepare yourself for the ones all these things. So it then doesn't hold. You don't hold too much in. You've said they're good. They're in a better place. If not, you just ask.
You're saying something that's very important right now, because a lot of the shifts that are going to happen, a lot of people will probably go unexpectedly. No, and the fact that you brought it up today is so timely. Being in a place where you may or may not be okay with what that is. Learning these lessons is giving you the opportunity to grow in so many ways, and some people have just reached the end of their contracts. They have grown to a place where they know that they're like, I'm good, I've done everything I need to do, and they're ready to go on. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the person who's been in their life all that time may not be ready for them to go anywhere. And
That's what's hard, when other people are holding on when you're ready to go.
Yes.
That's tough.
And sometimes you have to coach that, for they have people called, you know how you have a midwife that brings a new baby in? Well, at the end of life, they call it the doula.
Oh,
the midwife doula to go and help you and the family to let go of that person. Because sometimes you'll keep that person earthbound if you hold on and you don't let that person transition over.
Right.
Because they're worried about you and they're hanging on.
Right. And they talk about dreams. You have them in person.
They'll be in your bedroom every night. Yeah, they'll be in your bedroom every night going, well, what?
Let me go. Let me
go. Let me go. Yeah. And there you are. You're just sitting there hanging out with them. And
but they're always more or less their heart, mind, spirit, and memory. You know, all these things. So it's certain things. You know, I just say it's the ones that are unexpected. Of course, it's
the hardest.
It's the hardest. But as much as you can, prepare yourself for the others. That, you know, don't have to hold on. And as far as dreams go, when you do see them in the dream, take it as a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Take what they're maybe doing in the dream or whatever it may be. Try to maybe more or less analyze what could they be saying, and or they just maybe saying hello because you need that, or you wanted to say hello or something.
Or you can communicate with them. You can have a little meeting with them.
Conversations and all these things. Yeah, like what is that about?
You can set the intention before you go to bed. You can write it down, what you want, who you want to see, what you want to talk about. Put that under your pillow and then just see what you get in that dream. And see if that person shows up for you. Because I set the intention to speak to my grandpa. It took me a long time. It took me setting the intention for a couple weeks before he showed up, but I finally found him.
Was this right after he passed?
He had been gone for many years.
Oh, at that point, but you wanted to speak to him.
But I wanted to find out what happened, where he was. It took me a long time to locate him, but I did locate him, and I did have a conversation with him.
Oh, wow.
So you can do that.
Yeah. I thought, wow, that's interesting. Good. Try it.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
See, you bring up all kinds of good things that you know, take us down these little paths that we didn't think to talk about at the beginning of the show, but now it's kind of like gone this way and that way,
but they all tie together.
All tie together. We're all on the different freeway, but we're all going to the same place, and we're helping each other get there as we go.
Right. Exactly. You gonna do commercial?
I think we can cut to commercial. We'll be right back. Since Einstein and the discovery of quantum physics, it has been known that everything that exists is energy. Energy is all there is. The only difference is that physical matter, such as a table, a chair, or a car, is the seen energy. The unseen energy is sound, light, radio waves, radiation. They vibrate at a different frequency and a different rate. Reiki is used to assist with many ailments. If you're having a surgery, if you need help recovering, if you were diagnosed with chronic pain, fatigue, inflammation, diabetes, arthritis, then we can connect to the angels and the guides using tones, mantras, selenite swords of light. I use the Ankh to work within the physical pain, body, as well as the emotional field. Reiki can also be done in person or done remotely. I'm also a channel medium. I offer readings. If you would like to get involved in mentoring, you can please reach out to me on my website. I'll be forming groups now. If you would like to set up a session or get a reading or have any conversation about any of the pain or the inflammation or issues you're having, please submit a request to my website and reach out to me. Thank you. Welcome back to You Matter. I'm the host, Deborah Dupre, and I'm here again with Reyna. Reyna, thank you for being on.
Thank you so much. And actually, one more thing about the dreams. We didn't cover it, but chasing dreams is a big one. If you want to cover that real quick.
Yeah, so chasing dreams is when you're avoiding something in your waking life. So you're feeling like you can't cope with something, or you don't want to face something, so you're running away from it.
Okay.
You're just kind of feeling afraid. Maybe there's something that's
issues, someone that you're not dealing with.
Yeah.
So you feel as though you are overwhelmed and being chased by this. Mm-hmm. So you have to figure out what it is for yourself.
So you have to turn around and face your fear. You have to face your fear, and you have to start looking at it as a way of, if you're constantly in fight or flight, that's raising your cortisol levels, that's raising your blood pressure, all the things we're trying to reduce. So if you're constantly in fight or flight because you're worried about whatever's coming after you, something's trying to attack you, you need to be in a place of more calm. Get to a place of center where you can be in more peace. Work from the heart, less from like these lower chakras, that survival mode where you're always being chased. You're always feeling like, I gotta chase that. I gotta get that money. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Sometimes if you can calm that down and just say, look, it's gonna be okay. Everything's fine. We're gonna be okay.
Well, ultimately, again, back to the journal, you write that down.
Yeah.
You can kind of figure out more or less, oh, I had it again, let me write it down again, and see what maybe to let go of what's that thing that's chasing you, and then you feel like you can't turn around in that dream, right? And face your fears.
Well, and writing it down, you will mentally go into your head, right? Now you're going to analyze it. But when you're in your heart, your heart knows the answer. You don't have to be in your head all the time to analyze something, to understand.
Yeah.
But the heart knows more than the brain. That's why the Egyptians threw away the brain and kept the heart, right? They didn't keep the brain. They said, that's no good. They kept the heart because the heart had 320 more connections than the brain.
Wow, I didn't know.
So your heart is actually driving more of your path than your brain is. But here we're taught in the West that you have to have the mind, you're always in the head, you got to be studious and all that stuff. But it's really the heart.
Wow. I had the more you know symbol come over my head. Well, thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Fun as usual.
This is good. Yeah, it's always good with you.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and close the show. I want to thank our Creator for all the gifts of peace, love, gratitude, joy, and health as we walk with our ancestors in footprints, saying yes to the angels. Yes to the angels, ancestors, and guides leading me forward to make the right choices, being present in the moment today, my higher self leading me here to be with all of you. And may you and your families be blessed today and every day as we close the show with love and peace. Thank you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.